between 800 to 900 people on average for these forums, which I think is outstanding, because I think in the beginning, a lot of folks thought that nobody in the city cared about this city. And nothing is farther from the truth. So let me thank all of you for coming here, for listening, and hopefully participating by giving us a lot of direction, a lot of feedback, and a lot of recommendations in terms of what you want this city to be. I know early on in each one of the forums, I do understand this and I'm sensitive to it, that people are angry about what this city is today, how this city looks today. I know other people are frustrated about this city, where we're going or where we're not going. And I understand that. And I also think that there is a fear factor, because there are a lot of unanswered questions relative to what this city is going to look like. But the key is getting you involved in this whole process. As I go back and I look at my training as a youngster when I was growing up, it was about family, it was about the neighborhoods, it was about people depending upon each other to help each other out, not just in a crisis, but every day. And that's what a neighborhood is about, that's what a community is about, that's what a city is about. And I learned early on as a young athlete, regardless, I was blessed with athletic ability, but I knew in a team sport that there was no way I was going to be successful as an individual without the right kind of teammates around me. And fortunately, at every phase of my athletic life, I appreciated my teammates to the extent that I know that they could have been doing something different. All of us had talent, but in a lot of cases, they took a back seat to me because they allowed me to become as good as I could become. And I surely appreciated them for that. As I moved out of that phase of my life and went into business, same thing. I had never been in business before. I started my business from scratch here in 1980 with 4 people. I knew back then I was not going to be successful and grow without having the right kind of talent around me, without understanding how important my teammates were going to be as I moved through the ladder of success. And now that I'm in politics, in city government, there is no way that I can be successful as the mayor of this city without having a committed team around me. I will tell you, I had all kinds of reservations when I went into the mayor's office and went into city government, because I heard all the complaints, all the finger pointing about how lazy people were, how dumb people were, how they weren't responsive, et cetera, et cetera. But I got there and I was pleasantly surprised, because there were a lot of people in place that wanted to do the right thing. I was able to bring in some other people that helped us build a team, and that took me some time. But we have a team in place today that's committed. There's nobody that's coming in at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. There's nobody leaving at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, because our hole was so deep and is deep that there's no way that we can work an 8-hour day and get the things done that you expect us to get done for you. So I want to take the opportunity to thank my team, the team of leaders that I have, the team that goes all the way down to supervisors, quite frankly, and the workers in the city of Detroit. There are a lot of good people that work for you. When I came in once again, I looked at the 80-20 rule and said, if 80% of the people are trying to do the right thing, we're going to be okay. Over time, we can look at that 20% that's not doing what they ought to do, and we can make some decisions to replace them. And we have started to do that. There are some people that are still in the system that aren't committed. And over time, we'll find out exactly who they are and whether or not they bring value to the table. And if they don't, then they cannot be part of the team. You deserve better. As I ran for mayor, there were a few things that I knew I had to focus on. With so many challenges, I know I couldn't come in and try to fix everything at once, because our city didn't get in the shape it's in overnight, and we are not going to fix everything overnight. But I do think we were focusing on the right things. Number one was public safety. Detroit for years and years have always been looked upon as a dangerous city. And if you as a citizen don't feel comfortable in your home, in your neighborhood, in your community, why have we lost over 50% of our population over the last 30 or 40 years? That's one of the primary reasons. People did not feel safe. And I made it a point, as I went through my first budget, to make sure that I didn't cut public safety, because I believe that's one of the most important things for us as a city. As I talk about public safety and I look at the front row, we have our new chief. Would you stand up? I came into a situation where the financial stability in our city did not exist. I inherited a $330 million deficit. And within a short period of time, I was told that you're going to wind up having paydays. You're going to run out of money. You're going to run this city in the hole. You're going to be defunct. You're going to have to declare bankruptcy. 15 months later, we had not missed a payday. We have been able to put together, as a team, a plan that's taken our deficit from $330 million down to $85 million. And as we move forward, the goal is to have not only a balanced budget, but to make sure that we eradicate the deficit that we have right now. Thirdly, we have a situation with our public school system that has been really, really bad for a long time. I came up in a place at a time when public education was cherished. And I got a good education in public school, so I know it can be done. When you look at generations of people here in the city of Detroit who went through the DPS system, a lot of you in this audience, I'm sure, got a very good education. But we have allowed it to slip back and back and back, where we are doing our young people a real disservice. They are not going to be prepared for any kind of job in the 21st century unless we make some changes. So education also is something key for us to come back as a city. When I looked at going into office, one of the first things that happened, I was confronted with, is that we had someone in another city who said General Motors should not have their headquarters in Detroit. Detroit does not deserve General Motors anymore. Needless to say, I got on the phone, made a phone call to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and was able to get through and say GM needs to be in Detroit. GM had about 2,000 employees downtown. They not only stayed downtown, they added another 2,000 employees. Most recently, a few other positive things have happened. And that's what's so tough. We never talk about ourselves in a positive way. I mean, we allow somebody else from the outside to define us. And we got to stop doing that. Let's start talking about who we are. We got good folks in the city. We got people who want good things to happen in this city. And it's incumbent upon us to make sure that that happens. So I looked at Quicken Loans, and they had already made a commitment to come downtown. But the bottom fell out of their industry, and there were some questions as to whether or not they would follow through. Well, I got in contact with Dan Gilbert and asked him, are you going to do this? Are you committed? The answer was yes. They now have 2,000 people downtown in the city. I got a call from Dan Lett over at Blue Cross Blue Shield some time ago who said, I'm thinking about coming back home. I'm from Detroit. I've got headquarters in Detroit, I got headquarters out in Southfield, I got them in Lansing, all over the place. I'm committed to Detroit. I will move my 3,000 employees out of Southfield, downtown Detroit. That's going to happen. So I'm just throwing out a few of the positive things. Now, everything that I've just talked about is downtown. And I think I don't want this administration to be judged on just what's happening downtown. This administration is going to focus on the community, on the neighborhoods. That's where you live. So we've got to make sure that the same kind of courage that people are giving us and working with us to invest downtown, we would do it in the communities, in the neighborhoods. We're going to focus. Today, I was with HUD in a groundbreaking for Section 8 houses, brand new homes, 180 homes. We broke ground today, right across the street from the Motor City Casino. There are good things happening all over this city. What we've got to do is start talking about that, because once again, as we know, historically, bad news makes good conversation. And we're allowing that to happen to us. It's time for us to stand up and fight back and let people know who we are, where we're from, and that we're proud to be Detroit. Started this process, it would have been easy to just work with my chief staff people, my leadership team, and say, let's put a plan together, and then let's implement the plan. I think that's happened way too long. I don't think any administration for the tenure that I've been here, 44 years, that we've had this kind of openness, this kind of involvement, this kind of commitment back to the community. Do we have ideas? Do we have some answers? We think so. But I need to tell you, we haven't wasted a whole bunch of time on trying to put a plan together, because I think in order for it to work, you got to buy into it. So we are much better off, I think, bringing you into this process early on, getting your ideas, getting your input, and then we put all of that together. We build a data bank, and then we come back and say, you know, this is what we heard from you, or what we thought you wanted. And we come back and we have that conversation. Now, we know we're not going to make all the right decisions. We're not going to do all the things that our citizens expect us to do overnight. But at least we'll have a really good foundation in terms of how this city is going to look, where it's going to go, how long it's going to take us to get there. So please, please, I'm happy that you're here tonight. And I can only hope that you give us constructive criticism. It's all right to criticize us, but give us constructive criticism. Let us know what it is that's important to you, what you want in your neighborhoods, what's important. Then we start to develop this plan, and before we implement and execute the plan, we're going to share what we thought you said, what we think you want. In the end, it's going to be good for all of us. You know, now, a lot of people are fearful that there's going to be some kind of sellout. That, you know, out of the 139 square miles that we have today, that we've got some secret plan on the shelf that says we're going to sell land or give land away to somebody else. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. When the 2010 census is done, we're going to probably have less than 900,000 people in the city, in a city that was built for over 2 million people. So all of a sudden, you've got all of this scattered property all over the place. And we got to do better than that. We got to do something different. I'm not going to force anybody to move. That's not going to happen. I'm not taking anybody's property. That's not going to happen. What we're going to do is, once we put this plan together, we will come and say, here is the idea. But work with us here, some people who are in desolate areas, we may be able to put them into a better situation. There are all kinds of homes that are available in the city. We're not going to just constantly tear down homes. There are a lot of homes that we got to fix up. And we're now starting to get money from the federal government that will allow us to fix up some of the homes that are in disrepair, but we don't have to tear down. So we've got to be very smart, because we don't have a bucket full of money that we can just throw at our problems. So we've got to really talk to each other and figure out how we maximize the investments that are going to be made, how we maximize the resources that we have. And the only way we do that is communicating with each other honestly and openly. And I intend to do that. My integrity is very important to me. I have not lied to anybody, and I'll tell you what, I don't intend to. You may not like some of the decisions that need to be made. They're going to be tough decisions. But I'm here to make the tough decisions, because we are at a point in this city's career, in this city's history, to make significant change. We need to do it. We need to do it for our children. We need to do it for our grandchildren. But my focus is going to be on who is here today. We've got to take care of the people that are here. Then we'll start looking at, once we stabilize, we'll start looking at how do we grow. I don't think in my lifetime for sure that we're going to get back to 2 million people. But we're still going to have 139 square miles, and the city will be different. There are different industries that we can look at. There are a lot of different things that I think we can do in the 21st century that we are not doing now. So I need your intellect. I need your feedback. We got a lot of smart people in our city. We don't have all the answers in city government. Help us to help you. And then we will put this plan together, bring it back to you, and we will finalize the plan. Then we have to execute the plan. So I am looking forward to it. It's a challenge, but it's a tremendous opportunity. So I want to thank the young ladies behind me, because they have a yeoman's job. And they have my respect, they have my support. We've got a great team that I think we've put together, but we need you to stay engaged and help us put this plan together. Thank you so very much for coming out.
May not be aware, but there are actually 3 different rooms who are being simulcast, so they've seen what you've seen so far this evening. But certainly for this part of the program,